How to make a frangipani flower.
Need to make it with petal paste, and we're going to be using this PME cutter, which is a 5-petal cutter from the large set. It's the middle-sized one of the large set. So massage your petal paste first of all, a bit of corn flour on your mat, a little tiny bit on your rolling pin and on the paste just to stop it all sticking, and roll out a nice even piece of paste. You don't want this too thin, it's not like a rose or something like that. Actually, it needs to be still about 1 millimetre thick, so not so thin that you can see through it. Cut out the shape and give it a little rub on the reverse side just to try and neaten out those edges. These cutters do tend to leave slight frills around the edge of them. And then cut each petal out. So I'm just taking the lines down to the middle so that you've got 5 separate petals there. Once you've done that, take each petal and just roll it just from the centre upwards, because these petals are quite long, not too round, they're a slightly longer sort of shape. There, this is slightly longer there. You can give your little petals a bit of a neaten off around the edges if they've gone a bit frilly. Pop them onto your foam. I'm just using this blue foam just so that you can see them a bit more easily. And then we're going to thin them, but only on one side. So as I'm looking at them, I'm going to thin the left-hand side using a ball tool. I'm going to go with the slightly thicker end of that and just roll gently along the edge and then up from the bottom to the middle, and that will give you a bit of a curl. So roll round the edge and up from the middle, and do that with each petal. Again, making sure you only do one side and do the same side of each petal. And there's the last one. Then you take a cocktail stick and from the base, from the point, just roll it ever so slightly over so you're left with a slight curve. And do that with each petal. Make sure that you've left yourself a point at the end, and you don't need to go all the way up to the top of your petal. This is just on the edges. And you've done all 5. You see that? Now the next thing, a little bit of glue, edible glue, and a thin paintbrush. You don't want to put too much on because you don't want to make it too sticky. And on the edge that you haven't curled, just paint a line down the edge of that. Take your next petal and kind of tuck it inside. And it goes up about halfway along that petal edge. And just keep repeating that process. So tuck it in at the bottom there, pull it out, and if you just kind of drew a line from the point up to the top of your petal, it would be halfway along. Keep going, and you're going to make a lovely fan shape, and just gently press where you've got your glue so that your petals all stick, but not without squashing that final bit, and then you've got a good fan. Now to bring your flower together, paint that last petal in the same place as you have with all the others. Pick it up and curl it round, tucking that first petal in to the last petal. Now that's quite tubular shaped, which isn't particularly characteristic of this flower. If you give it a little squeeze, the petals will start to naturally drop down. You can give them a little ease down, like that. Take a square of tin foil and fold it, give it a little fold, and that will make you a dip all over the edges, and that will form you a nice little Keep an easy folded cup to put your flour in. Pinch off the end, they don't need to have a big tubular bit on the bottom, and pop that into your former to dry. And that's the first step done. If when you've popped it in you're a little bit squished, then you can always just lift it up with the cocktail stick. We're going to leave those to dry and then come back and dust them a little bit later. Hi there, so we're back, and these are dry, been left overnight, so completely solid. And we're going to dust them using these dusting powders. I've gone for yellow, orange, a couple of pinks, a dark and a lighter one, and a little bit of corn flour here. Now Google the pictures of these flowers, it really helps to know where to put the colours. I'm going to tuck them in between the curls on the petals to start off with. I'm going to start with the yellow. Don't be too shy with the colour, but you can always add a bit more, it's a bit harder to take it away. So you just brush in. Gone for a thin brush so that I can get down in between those curly bits on the petals there. And don't worry if you've got bits where you don't really want it, we can come back later and take those off. Last one. There you go. Going to use a slightly blunter brush. This is just a makeup brush, clean makeup brush here. And put a bit of the orange on to do the centre. Just nice to add a few different tones in. Just tapped out a bit of extra, I've got too much in there. And there you can see already. Now a lot of the frangipani look like that, so that could be your frangipani finished. These ones today are going to have a bit of pink on them as well. So I'm just picking up a little bit of the darker pink, again with quite a fine brush, just brushing around the edges the petals on one side. And then to finish off, slightly paler pink, just to blend that in. And a slightly fatter brush as well, that helps to blend as well. Now if you feel you've got your colours a bit too dark, this is where your corn flour comes in, so tap your brush into the corn flour, give it a brush off, and that helps clean the brush off, and then you can just flick out and gets rid of any excess bits. There it is, finished. Really easy to do.